How far was the passing of the August Decrees in 1789 caused by ideas of the Enlightenment? The August Decrees of 4/11 August 1789 represented one of the most radical and symbolic acts of the early French Revolution. In a single night and the days that followed, the National Constituent Assembly abolished feudalism, seigneurial rights, tithes, venality of office, and the privileged status of the nobility and clergy. While Enlightenment ideas undoubtedly provided an intellectual and moral framework that made such sweeping reforms thinkable, the decrees were primarily the product of immediate political crisis, fear of popular violence, and the Assembly's determination to assert its authority. This essay argues that Enlightenment ideas were an important enabling factor, but not the main cause. The decrees were above all a pragmatic and defensive response to the Great Fear and the power vacuum created by the collapse of royal authority in the summer of 1789. Enlightenment ideas certainly helped shape the ideological climate in which the August Decrees were passed. The works of Montesquieu, Voltaire, and especially Rousseau had circulated widely among the educated elite and the Third Estate deputies. Rousseau's concept of the general will, and the idea that legitimate government rested on popular sovereignty rather than divine right or tradition, directly challenged the ancient regime. Voltaire's relentless criticism of privilege and superstition undermined the moral authority of the church and nobility. These ideas were clearly visible in the language of the August Decrees and the subsequent Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, 26 August 1789, which proclaimed that men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Many deputies, particularly the lawyers and professionals who dominated the Third Estate, had absorbed Enlightenment principles through salons, academies, and reading societies. In this sense, Enlightenment thought provided both the justification and the vocabulary for the destruction of feudal privilege. However, the timing and content of the decrees were driven far more by immediate political and social pressures than by abstract philosophy. The summer of 1789 was dominated by the Great Fear, a wave of peasant revolts and panic across much of rural France triggered by rumors of aristocratic brigands and royal counter-revolution. Peasants attacked shaytalks, burned feudal records, and refused to pay dues. Faced with the real possibility of anarchy in the countryside, moderate and liberal deputies realized that radical action was necessary to restore order and prevent the revolution from collapsing. The dramatic session of 4 August began as an attempt to calm the provinces rather than as a philosophical exercise. The Vicomte de Noailles and the Duc d'Aiguillon, both nobles, proposed the abolition of feudal rights not out of pure Enlightenment conviction, but to prevent further violence and to secure the loyalty of the peasantry to the new regime. Thus, practical political necessity and fear of popular disorder were the immediate catalysts. The political context of the National Assembly itself further explains the decrees. After the tennis court oath, 20 June, and the king's reluctant recognition of the Assembly, the deputies were determined to establish their legitimacy and prevent a royal countercoup. By abolishing the legal basis of the ancient regime, the Assembly dramatically asserted its sovereignty over the nation. This was as much a power struggle between the National Assembly and the monarchy as it was an application of Enlightenment principles. The speed and emotional atmosphere of the night of 4 August, described by contemporaries as a mixture of idealism, panic, and competitive generosity, also suggests that the decrees were not the result of careful philosophical reflection, but of a moment of revolutionary fervor and political calculation. It is important to note that many of the deputies who voted for the decrees were not consistent followers of Rousseau or Voltaire. The majority were moderate constitutionalists who had initially sought only limited reform. Their willingness to support such sweeping measures on 4 August was driven less by ideological commitment than by the urgent need to stabilize the situation and maintain control of the revolution. In this respect, the Enlightenment provided a convenient intellectual justification for actions that were dictated by political survival. In conclusion, while Enlightenment ideas supplied the intellectual and moral language that made the abolition of feudalism conceivable, they were not the primary cause of the August Decrees. The decrees were above all a pragmatic response to the immediate crisis created by the Great Fear, the power vacuum after the fall of the Bastille, and the National Assembly's need to assert its authority. Ideas alone do not explain why the decrees were passed in August 1789 rather than earlier or later. The interaction between Enlightenment principles and the explosive social and political conditions of the summer of 1789 was what produced this dramatic outcome. The decrees therefore illustrate how ideas become historically significant only when they intersect with pressing material and political realities.